Good
morning.
morning, Gaynell. Hello, everybody. Well, today I'd like to invite you all to come to our open day at Lockerbie, which is happening next Thursday, the 16th of November. It's one day only. You know, this is a time of year when schools and colleges and so on open their doors and you can go in and you can see what's happening there and imagine what the experience would be like for your child there. There's lots of things for parents to consider. So, the best thing you can do when you have to make a choice, you have to make a decision, is to make as informed a decision as possible. So, that's the benefit of open days. So, we're opening our doors. I mean, they're always open, but we're opening our doors for an open day, official open day, next Thursday, the 16th of November from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So, today I want to talk to you about what is a school open day, the kind of questions you should ask, the kind of things you should expect to see, because you need to plan for it, you know? So I'm going to front load you, just like we do in our classes when we're about to teach a topic. You're going to front load you with the kind of questions that you should be thinking about asking, because you're going to go and visit a school because you've pinpointed that you need a different kind of experience for your child. It's time either for them to graduate and move on to a different level, or it's time for them to change completely because something is happening with the academics or their social and behavioral, and emotional well-being that you feel that changes in order. So today I'm going to talk to you about open days and the value of actually going and visiting a school to just see how things are done. So prospective parents and students on an open day visit a school. The school is open. It's a regular work day, and you get to experience everything that goes on in that school, you know, in any sort of regular day. You'll be able to visit classrooms, and the pupils often will show you around, the senior pupils and so on. And you get to talk to them and you get to talk to teachers about your school. Obviously, we're a small school, so you have very easy access to students and to teachers. And hopefully, we'll have a couple of parents there as well. You want to ask them things that are very, very relevant to you. Whether it's your child's curriculum, your child may be gifted and talented, not having needs met, your child may have learning issues, and may not be in an inclusive environment, which we all know works in the best interest of every child. Your child may be in a very traditional school, and you know how traditional schools teach. They were designed for the Industrial Revolution, you know, working, you know, in factories and that kind of thing. That's why we have our neat little rows of desks. So come and see what an alternative school looks like, and how do children benefit from having collaborative tables and couches and Pilates balls and that kind of thing in a classroom? We're very much dealing with a millennial generation who likes to collaborate and work with each other and investigate and to critically think. So it's time that you sort of visit an alternative environment. It's good to start looking around before a little problem becomes a big chaotic nightmare. So even if something little is going on that you think, look, I've been trying and I'm not making any impact, I'm not making any headway, there have been lots of empty promises thrown at me, but nothing is actually improving, don't wait until it becomes huge. Start looking around, because parents, your gut instinct is really, really important. If in your gut you feel it's not going well, you're not happy with what's going on, nothing's being done to improve your child's learning experience at school, follow your gut. That's a really, really important marker for you. So how are open days actually organized? Well, take your child with you. Any school you go to for an open day should be happy to have both you and your child. You need that child's eye view. You need their actual feedback, because they're going to notice things you miss and they're going to see things from an entirely different perspective. One of the things we like to do at Lockerbie is we like to invite children to actually join one of our classes, to experience the subject that they're being taught traditionally in another school, to experience how it's actually taught in our classrooms and how that translates to parents. We love parents to go into a class of a subject that they hated at school. Now, why do you hate a subject at school? Either you don't connect with it or you don't connect with a teacher, which often that's the case. You know, if a child loves a teacher and feels that they're liked and they're understood and their learning is important to the teacher and so on, they'll flourish. So we'd like you as a parent who's carrying with you the remnants of a bad school experience in a particular subject, or a subject that you just found so difficult to learn, we'd like you to actually sit into one of our classrooms in a subject that you just didn't get a lot out of, so that you could experience what it would be like for a child who has your similar, children often inherit parents' weaknesses, I don't know how I got 3 children good at math, to be perfectly honest. I expect child number 4 would have been dreadful at math. But if I was visiting a school, I'd want to go to a math class. I'd want to see how that was being taught. You also need to think about whether you find the open day authentic. Is the school friendly? Does the school have a caring atmosphere? Is it being run efficiently? Or is everything sort of like improvised and fly by night and chaotic? The organization of the day's events can give you many clues as to the general running of a school. If the children are disorganized and chaotic, the chances are a lot of things are disorganized and chaotic. Pay attention to the pupils that you see in the classroom. Pay attention to them themselves. Are they happy to be there? Are they motivated? Do they get down to the task? Does the teacher really communicate and collaborate well with them and give them sort of, feedback? Do they speak positively about their teachers? Do they enjoy school life? They're the best ambassadors for any school, so it's important that you speak to pupils who go to a school. Don't make any decisions based on individual teachers, because they may have left by the time your child starts. However, if you do have concerns about how an individual teacher teaches, whose classroom you've actually been into, you need to talk to someone in admin about it, because your concern is valid. And any admin should be very happy to hear your concerns. Because if we're not all learning and growing and playing on the same team to improve things, what's the point of actually having a team? Don't make decisions when you're bogged down in all the details. Try to get a feel for the school atmosphere and take a notepad with you so that you can write things down and you can write questions down that you want to ask afterwards. Feel free to ask lots of questions, particularly those that are relevant to your child. For example, my child and I struggle to do 4 hours homework a night. I need that situation to improve. How can your school actually help me improve that situation? Or my child feels that he is not liked by his teachers, or his teachers are not patient enough with him. How are things going to be different at Lockerbie? We have a very detailed application form. And one of the questions we have, because we have 2 pages of parents' perceptions and we have 2 pages of students' perceptions. And the first question we ask students who are enrolling at Lockerbie is, how would you like to be taught? And you would be amazed how many kids write down, I'd like my teachers to take the time to explain things to me until I get it. Can you imagine that? Well, a teacher can't take the time if there are 32 of you in the class. Yeah. But that's what they overwhelmingly say. Look at the work that's on display. Look at the artwork. Look at the creativity that's being nourished there. Does it represent a broad range of ability? Because the school really should value every child. And you'll find children who don't think they're particularly artistic, producing the most amazing pieces in art. But they may not be drawings and paintings. They may be when they actually have to build something. Now, we have a fabulous art teacher called Raquel Marshall. Fabulous. And she did this incredible project with our kids, which was all about relics. It was all about things that we no longer use. And they had to build them out of cardboard boxes. You'd be amazed what they got, Gaynell. They got a jukin board.
I was about to say.
They got a jukin board. One built an old rotary dial telephone.
Good.
Another one built an old computer. Remember when there were these huge boxes? So you would think, children will always say, I'm no good at it. Well, it all depends if the teacher's any good, because if the teacher's any good, she's going to bring out that talent in you. Ask if the school offers extracurricular activities, if you have to pay for them. Ask what they actually are. Ask about the food that the school serves. Do the children have to bring lunch boxes, or are there meals they can buy, and so on? You've got to listen to your instincts, parents. That's the most important thing. Ask about the primary students. Do they get individual play areas? How are they integrated into the school? What do lunch times and recesses and before school and after school? What does that look like? Are the teachers on duty? Are your children being supervised? Do new pupils have a buddy who's actually allocated to them? Picture what your child's going to be like at this school. How does the school cater for gifted and talented children? How does the school cater for children with learning issues? How does the school cater for children who just need that bit of extra support? How does it cater for children who have just fallen through the cracks by being undertaught? What evidence can you show, can the school show that your child is going to be stretched? Does the school show that your child's going to have a voice to express what's not working well for them? Yeah? Do they feel safe enough to actually express it? Do the external speakers who visit the school, do they come to talk about things that are helpful and important to the students? For example, we have our lawyer, Brian Barrow. He comes to talk to the kids about things that they, a 16-year-old child always has these legal questions. I don't know how it enters their head when they're 16, but it does. We have wonderful doctors. We have Graham Marquez and we have Tricia Simmons, and they come to talk to the kids, all the sex ed talks and the adolescent talks and that kind of thing. They're absolutely fabulous. What about field trips? How are they planned? How are they integrated? Does the whole school get to take part? Does the school segregate its pupils, by age or by gender or whatever? You need to know these things. What would you do? What would the school do if you complained that your child was being bullied? What kind of positive behavior policies does the school have? What happens if you're not happy with the quality of teaching? What will the school do about it? What will the school do if your child enrolls in a subject for CXC and then they find they have no aptitude for it or interest in it? What will you do? Do subject options clash? Are they open choices? How does your child choose? What about their career paths? Are they supported in actually, finding what their passion is? How many new staff have you had in the past 2 years? How do you train new staff? How do you integrate them into the school? How do they pick up your ethos? How many staff are trained to administer first aid? What happens if your child falls ill or something happens? What's the most serious injury to a pupil that the school has actually had to deal with? If your child's asthmatic, ask what the policy is with asthmatic children. Ask what happens to their medication. You have to ask these questions in the interest of your child's health and well-being. Is your weekend going to be occupied with homework? Are you going to be doing all of your children's projects with him or her? Because everything now has a project.
Yeah.
CCSLC has projects. CXC has SBAs in every subject. Is all the classwork or homework marked? Does your child get second chances? What happens on wet days? Where do the pupils go? When a child's absent, what's the process? Does a school actually plan for that? These are all the questions you need to be thinking of. If your students are online, as they are with Lockerbie, what is the school doing to protect their access online so they're not accessing things they shouldn't be? What happens when parents are late picking up their children? How early can children be dropped off so you avoid the traffic? How is discipline managed? Does the school practice corporal punishment? I can tell you right off the bat, Lockerbie College does not. I mean, there's absolutely no point in spanking a child, for heaven's sake. Yeah? If your child's emotionally fragile or going through a hard thing, what on earth do you do? These are all the questions you need to ask at open days. What are the best things about lessons and the worst things about lessons? Are the toilets clean? Are the bathrooms clean? You know what? As a parent, stick your nose into the bathrooms at Lockerbie. Stick your nose into the kitchens at Lockerbie. Yeah? What are the students' favorite subjects and why? How do students deal with difficult subjects? And the big question to ask at Lockerbie is, how do you integrate subjects? We love to explain to you how math is taught in cooking classes. So there's a lot to see, a lot to experience, and I hope I've given you some really valuable questions to ask. I'm going to be posting all of this on our website. We're putting up a slider today, advertising our open day, which is next Thursday, the 16th of November from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Drop in anytime. We're really going to be happy to welcome you. And our website, you'll have a view page where you can see all these questions and you can bring them with you and ask us the ones relevant to you. We look forward to seeing you then.